Welcome to TILMA, our monthly podcast that dives into all aspects of my 7-year pastoral plan on evangelization, from exciting community events around the diocese to a deep dive into Pope Francis' 10 hopes for the Jubilee year. I'm Bishop John Dolan, your host, and today we are going to talk about a recent trip to Africa visiting Nairobi, Kenya, by 8 young adults and 4 mentors from the Diocese of Phoenix. It was a 2-week trip as the inaugural participants of the E.Y.E program, an acronym for Engage Your Equal, a new diocesan initiative created to foster global solidarity and faith-based leadership and cross-cultural dialogue, all along equipping young adults to embody the universality of the Catholic Church. Well, I'm joined by Abigails Standish and Marissa Lopez. It's so great to have the two of you. You just came back from this trip, and I believe that you are jet-lagged.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. But it's great to be here.
Well,
thank you for having us.
I was so happy that you were able to be a part of this kind of inaugural process. The concept of or Engage Your Equal is really, it came out of Pope Francis's remarks almost throughout his whole papacy, and that was to really focus on not just giving something to the poor, but actually looking at them in their eyes and seeing a brother or a sister and journeying with that person. As often we give to say, Africa or to different countries, and we do some wonderful work in that regard, but sometimes it's important for us just to go over and see how the culture is, something that is very different from our own way of life. And so I'm just wondering, what are some of your experiences that you've gained over there? What did you gain? Let's start with you, Abigail.
Ooh, that's a great question. I think the number one thing that I really took back was the hospitality of the people of Kenya. We talk a lot about hospitality. You might find it in different communities, but everywhere we went, every step we took was accompanied by, karibu? It means welcome, karibu. It's just people screaming karibu at us in Swahili, in a good way.
Right.
And just the joy of having somebody there, having somebody who wants to experience their culture, who wants to be immersed in it, was so beautiful. And so it made it that much easier to truly feel part of it. And everybody would yell, they'd say, "Hi, cousins, hey, cousins," to us. And so this the joy of feeling like they were my family was really beautiful.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And indeed, we all are in one way or another. We are truly family, but especially as sons and daughters of God. But what about you, Marissa? What was your experience? What was your takeaway from all of this?
So it was very similar, as well as the hospitality. I would say alongside that, the joy and love that they have. Mm-hmm. So everywhere we would go, they would say, "Welcome home." Didn't matter where we were, from the youth to visiting like the diocese over there. Every single place we went to, they were like, "Welcome home, feel at home, and you're most welcome." That was like their greeting. And it really did feel like home. Like, I've never felt so comfortable somewhere that I've never been before, right, and with strangers. But they were all loving. They would like hug you, welcome you, like show you around, very nurturing. Mm-hmm. And also the other thing I would take away, their love and joy. It didn't matter what was going on. Like over there, during the time, there was a lot of protests going on during the country. And a lot of devastation as we were there that was ongoing. But regardless of that, all the people were full of joy, full of hope, and so much love that you would like have no idea what was going on if you hadn't known. So definitely like just taking that welcomeness and joy and being able to I want to be able to carry that in my faith as well and represent that too.
So you built some relationships there, I'm sure more than just pen pals and so on, but you're going to have a chance to connect in this very social media world now. You're probably going to have an even greater way of connecting with them. But you probably built some good relationships there, and I'm sure even with your own gathering, because you didn't really know each other as you took this flight and going to this foreign country. So talk about that. What about that concept of building relations?
I think something that was really unique for me, at least, to experience was how similar of like life experiences we were going through with the young adults in Nairobi. Part of me thought, well, we live all the way across the world from another. Like, how much of the similar things could we really be going through? And there are differences. There's different things happening in Kenya versus the United States, or the church in Africa versus the church in North America. But so much of it was really similar too, of like, to be a young adult is to be a young adult. It means to have the same joys, to have the same disparities. For social media, maybe social media is really good, but how is it bad for young adults as well? And so I thought that was something that really helped unite us all, is that we were able to connect so deeply simply by the fact that we were young adults, and that it's almost universal being a young adult and what you're going through, even if it looks a little different. The beauty of that. And
that's your common ground.
Yeah, it's our common ground. I think with our group too, just maybe not knowing each other super well almost helped us bond more, because here we were, all of a sudden we got on a flight and all of a sudden we're in Kenya, and just really there for the same purpose, there to dive in together, and to rely on one another was really beautiful opportunity. And then to bring it home as well, to have Marissa here in Phoenix to continue to journey with is really beautiful.
Well, I had that joyful experience of greeting you when you all returned, and a nice little luncheon there at Mount Claret. But there you were able to share your experiences. But I think you also had some wonderful experiences building those social relationships. Why don't you talk about that, Marissa?
Yeah, so I'm actually amazed at how many relationships I built over there. Like, I was hopeful that I was going to be able to network, but not to the extent that it happened. So I connected with pretty much every single group that we met. There's somebody that I connected with. I'm still in contact with them through WhatsApp. So I've already been keeping contact with them, letting them know that we're home safe, them checking on us. So a lot of people were worried that we weren't gonna make it on the last day. So that's been a way that I'm still in contact with them. But mainly for me, I was able to connect with a lot of the youth leaders over there. And then, kind of similar to what she was saying, there are a lot of differences, but that bond where we were similar is where we connected with. And then we were able to learn from the differences. So for me, I was able to learn a lot from the youth, the way that their mental health issues are similar to here, but also all the creative ways that they're helping back there, and ways that that I've kind of either pushed back or have limited myself to, where they're really able to inspire me to think outside of the box. So just keeping in contact with them, and then also being open and sharing with each other's different experiences, because just as curious as I was about them, they're also very curious about our experiences too.
That's so awesome. That's fantastic. Well, you started to tell us a little bit about what you learned. I would say maybe another way to speak of that is what best practice, of young adults. What best practice did you discover there that could be shared here? We could be a better community because of some of the wonderful things that they do. Does anything pop up?
Yes.
Yeah, like what?
For them, dance.
Okay.
So dance is huge over there, and they did not care if we didn't know how to dance, or if it did not matter. So we were able to do that at the university, also at Mariapolis Parish. So that's something that they use as a huge icebreaker.
Right.
And it was amazing how we weren't embarrassed to be up there, and how welcoming they were. And then they would just grab us from our seat too. And then there was a chance where we were able to also show them music from us as well. So it was a lot of fun. So that's something that just stood out, and it might sound a little bit silly, but it's definitely a way to get people to who aren't comfortable at first get along and be more comfortable and open.
Yeah, to me, I found I was there a few years ago, and I found that was one of the more striking things was the strength of song and the beauty of dance, and in every part, and especially at Mass, it was just wow. It was just beautiful. I was just so impressed by that. But what takeaway would you want to share with us? I mean, like a best practice.
I would say dialogue and unity were two things that constantly kept coming up throughout the 2 weeks that we were there. One, with the other young adults that we were with, we had the opportunity to meet with a program called Together for a New Africa, and then one called Empower to Care. And they really are just young adults who they see a problem in their communities, and so they work together peacefully to fix the problem. And I thought that was really inspiring, that a lot of times it can feel like, well, am I too young to do this? Do I have enough resources to do this? But to go and to say, if we're together, if we work together in unity, if we talk about it, if we find peaceful solutions together, what can we do? And I think that's something that we can all work on and all really bring and harness together to bring that peace with one another.
I think all of those things that we should be bringing back to our country, and learning a little bit more about what it means to dialogue, what it means to communicate. Now, you were saying that these two groups, they were from Kenya, is that right? Okay.
One group is Kenya-based. Okay. The other one is actually all across Africa. We just met only with the group from Kenya, since that's where we were.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Well, what was like super unexpected for you? Well, like what just kind of like caught you off guard? You said, I can't believe that we've never thought of this, or I can't believe that human beings live in this way, or what was so unexpected for you?
I think for me, one thing, this kind of goes back to the joy, but it's almost like such a deep rooted joy that it's impenetrable. One of our early days that we were there, we went to a parish called Sacred Heart Parish, and it's a parochial school as well. And so we were going to school mass, and we walk in and it's 1,000 children, ages like 5 to 14 or so, screaming with joy that we had walked into their church. It was like, I can't equate it to anything on earth. Like, I think this must be what it's like to walk into heaven. Like, it was the most joyful thing I have ever experienced. And I was thinking, I was like, I went to parochial school growing up. Like, if we had guests, we'd be excited because we got to miss class. Like, that was really it. Right. They were excited because we were there, because they wanted to see us and to meet us. And like, we introduced ourselves, and like, we would say, hi, my name's Abigail. And they go, Abigail. Like, it was the most amazing thing they'd ever heard in their lives. I was like, it's just my name. And same with Marissa, and just like the joy. And so really just amazed that people live like that joyfully, that authentically joyfully, I think was so beautiful to see, and just like shocking in a good way.
Yeah, you know? Again, that experience I had with celebrating a Mass, and they introduced the Mass with God is good, and they all say it all the time, and the priest said it all the time, and they said God is good, and that's his nature. Wow. They said, but everyone would say that. The young and the old and the very old would all say it, and they said it with every ounce of strength they had. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Just amazing. Well, what did you find? What was that unexpected moment? You just go, whoa, I never thought of this.
For me, it was like a combination of both the music and the faith. Similar, there was other models I would hear in different masses, and it was like each either school or parish like had something different that stood out. So I think also the way that they just started from such a young age. They were all starting choir and learning how to sing from such a young age, and it's something that they grew up with. And then their choirs out there, even the young people, are humongous. Right. And they're beautiful. So I would say something along those lines of creating like a safe space, like for creativeness, for them to nurture that music or that talent, or even if, you know, not everybody has to be great at it, but you could tell that they just grew up with that, and it's something that is a combination that they were able to fill. But also I really liked all the mottos and the prayers. I can't remember if it was, I want to say it was the same parish about but it might have been somewhere else. But they had said at the end of Mass, they had said the Anima Christi at the end, the kids, the children. I had never seen something like that ever at such a young age, memorizing it and being so vocal and loud about it. That was really beautiful to me.
Yeah, the Anima Christi, that's right. But just the way in which they would really work liturgy, and liturgy means public work. It's our work. It's the primary work of the church. And they put everything into it. And to me, that was something that I just wished I could bottle up and bring back here, because sometimes it's like, you know, you say that the Mass, you say, the Lord be with you, and lift up your hearts. All right, put them back down again, you know. Like that. It's just, but there it's just so exciting. They give everything that they have. It's a work. Which is what liturgy is. But they don't. It's like they enjoy going to work. They get up and they get to go to work on behalf of the church. They're praying for all of us and praying for them, their own community and their family and all of that. But they're doing it with joy. Even in the midst of pain and poverty and the struggles that they had. I was shocked when I was there. We celebrated Mass in one of the I forget what they call them, but it's, I guess another word for it would be slums, but they would come out of a tent, their home, dressed to the T for this wonderful event called the Mass. It was just so beautiful. It was just like, wow, they have nothing, but they give everything they have to God.
We went to a parish. It might have been the same parish.
I believe it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it was the same way. It was like every single person was in the absolute best outfit they could possibly find and dressed so beautifully because they couldn't wait to be there. It was the place they wanted to be the most, and you could feel that in their energy. I mean, it's like a 2-hour, 3-hour Mass. Like, it was we were running into the next Mass time, but everybody was so attentive to every single thing that was said, and they were just so happy to be there. It was so contagious too. I felt like I needed to go buy nicer clothes and just so much.
I know.
Be so much more attentive and everything.
Yeah, I believe that to be true. Well, what will you carry with you from this experience?
Okay, so for me, definitely the openness and understanding of other cultures.
Yeah.
To be able to respect them and be to reciprocate as well, because there's all kinds of similarities and differences we can continue to learn from each other. Over there, I've never learned so much from one place. And I've traveled a lot, but I really fell in love with the Kenyan culture and the people. They're so amazing and loving.
You want to go back?
I do. I feel a little homesick from there.
That would be fantastic.
But yeah, no, it was amazing. I would definitely just say the openness, I think, is really important, because if we already show up somewhere shut down or not willing to hear others, then that's already a problem. So definitely I would say the openness and willing to hear and listen to other people, not just ourselves.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to, just like what we're doing today, but to get that message out and just let people know that our world is a lot bigger than the world in which we're living. What experience did you carry back from Kenya?
I think really, kind of like you're saying, the importance of global solidarity. We had the amazing opportunity to meet with the Catholic Relief Services offices in Kenya. And solidarity, I mean, they're a US-based organization, but they work in over 100 countries. So global solidarity is a huge thing for them. And we learned a lot about the impact of the US, not only on the United States, but on the rest of the world, and especially on Kenya, which I think was really impactful to me to see that, my actions here impact directly the people that I am meeting here in Kenya. And other countries have the same as well on Kenya, and Kenya has the same on other countries. So it's not just the United States, but to see that what each person does in their lives impacts another person who they might never meet. And so the beauty of that global solidarity and how good it can be was a huge impact. That's great. Well, all right, just one last question. I'm going to ask you this. You went on safari. Any unexpected moment there for you on safari? Were you chased by any lions or what?
I think the closest thing we were almost chased by was probably a rhino.
They were a couple feet from our car, and they stood up at one point.
I think that was a little nerve-wracking.
They were what's it called when the stuff comes out of their nose? They were ready to I saw their foot go stomping, and I've heard that's a bad sign.
They might have been.
And we were so close, so that was a little scary because we could see them. We woke them up from their nap, and there was 3 of them.
I think they were hangry too, a little bit.
Yeah, we were right as close as that camera is over there, practically very close.
Well, I have to say, I was certainly praying for you all. I wanted to go off without a hitch. I wanted to make sure that you were all safe. I was really praying for you, but never in my mind did I think that of all the potential things that could go wrong, it would be that you got mowed over by a rhinoceros. But, hey, you know what? Thank you for joining us today for TILMA. The word is an acronym for Testifica o Iglesia a la luz del misterio de amor, or Testify, O Church, to the light of the mystery of love. Please subscribe, like, and provide your comments below for future episodes, and have a blessed day. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having us.